Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Tonight we have a awesome guest. So this is Black Writing Beyond the Veil. My guest tonight is a friend of mine. I've known her since 2017, and she is a tarot reader, a psychic tarot reader. Her name is Midge Marie. And tonight we're going to be talking about the art of tarot, some of the misconceptions behind tarot, maybe some of the meanings of the cards, and her guest appearance at the WPA Cryptid Supernatural Expo happening in Johnstown, Pennsylvania at the Masonic Temple, September 27th and 28th. So I'm going to bring my guest in. We're just going to do a little free-flowing kind of chat. We do have questions throughout the podcast. We hope people will join us and ask any questions that you want about tarot. Maybe you're getting into tarot because 'tis the season. We're about upon September 1st, and you know what that means. It's time to decorate your homes for fall. It's time to get those pumpkins out. It's time to get the tarot cards out and maybe dust them off because it's been a while since you practiced. So I'm going to bring her in. Please welcome Midge Marie. Hi.
Hi, Leah. How are you doing?
I am good. How about yourself?
Good, good. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's time.
I know. 'Tis the season, like you said.
Oh, it is. I'm excited too. September 1st. And if anybody you're into it, get your cinnamon out. Make sure you're blowing it into your doorway for good luck and prosperity.
Yes.
So, okay. So let's just catch up a little bit and see where you've been because I know you got a lot going on.
Yes. Yes, I do.
So what is new? What have you been up to lately?
Well, I had my son on May 3rd, and my daughter will soon be 3. She'll be 3 in December, and I'm currently a stay-at-home mom, so I'm in the trenches of having a baby and a toddler, and I also have an 8-month-old puppy. So there are days where I feel like I have twin toddlers between the puppy and my daughter. So I'm dealing with that and just trying to keep my household together, my kids safe and eating well and clean and trying to keep my mental health going.
A lot. It's a lot.
Yes, yes, it is. It
But
is.
you're doing it. You're doing a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm doing all that while trying to write as much as I possibly can. I have 3 poetry books available on Amazon. I'm trying to get into novels. I've always wanted to be a novel writer. And I'm also still doing my tarot readings as much as I possibly can.
Okay, so let's get into that. What made you decide to start reading tarot?
I've always been very fascinated by spirituality, psychic abilities, quote unquote, seeing the future, such, etc. And even as a teenager, I would try to get tarot readings whenever I possibly could. Throughout the area here in Western PA, there were a lot of festivals, especially this time of year. And every once in a while during these festivals or carnivals, etc., there would be tarot readers. So I would get my palm read, I would get a tarot reading, etc. And I've always just clung on to that. And of course, I grew up in the 90s. We had practical magic. As I got older, there's Harry Potter, Hocus Pocus. So I grew up very much in a witchy movie era, I guess we could call it, in the 90s and early 2000s. So that definitely influenced me and my curiosity. And finally in 2017, I had to be like 26, around 25, 26-ish, I got my very first oracle deck, which was the Animal Spirit Guide deck, which I still have. And then pretty like not long after that, probably another year or two after that, I got my first tarot deck, which another misconception I feel like a lot of people hear about a lot or think is that you have to be gifted your first tarot deck, which is not true at all. I got my first tarot deck and my first oracle deck at Barnes & Noble. If you are given a deck, that's amazing. That's a blessing. But you may not necessarily vibe well with that tarot deck or oracle deck. So I always like to tell people if they are interested in oracle reading or tarot reading, to go out and get a deck that you are attracted to, vibe well with. you can you don't even have to go to a bookstore or a witchy shop, a cult shop. You can go to Amazon. I've got my decks on Amazon.
Mhm.
So however you want to get that deck, if you see a deck that you are drawn to, try it out.
So one of the things I'm curious about, and a lot of people may not know this about you, is your faith. And you have classified yourself on many occasions as a Christian witch.
Yes. Yeah.
For a lot of people that don't quite understand the correlation between the two, can you kind of do a little bit of dive into that, what that means for you and how you've learned to incorporate the two things?
Sure. Thank you for asking. A lot of people see that as a double negative. They don't see how Christianity and witchcraft intertwine or how they can coexist peacefully. But especially for me, growing up Roman Catholic, there was a lot of witchiness in the Catholic Church. You know, there's of course, the metaphorical drinking of Jesus's blood, eating his body. There's a lot of rituals. There's oil in the Catholic Church that is used to bless items, to bless children whenever babies are baptized into the church. So that already is you can categorize all of those as witchy, quote unquote, or paganism, however you want to view that. So there's how can I put this? I'm a very spiritual person. I am very laid back in my faith, very laid back in my practices. I see no reason why I can be open to different spiritual practices, especially through my spiritual journey. It's always good to try on different shoes, if that makes sense, to try this out, try that out. I've always gone back to my Christian faith because I really vibe well with Jesus, aka Yeshua. I don't know. I don't think a lot of people know this, that Jesus wasn't the correct pronunciation of his name. From my understanding, it is actually pronounced as Yeshua. So there are times where I prefer to call him Yeshua. So just to clarify that. But I've always vibed well with his teachings. He had a very simple, loving rhetoric teaching, love thy neighbor, love yourself, don't judge, worship in private, which is something I definitely resonate with. I really enjoy worshiping in private. I feel like that's how it should be. That's my philosophy. I understand not everyone agrees with me on that. That's perfectly fine. But um I've had no issues blending my spell work and my Christian faith. To me, I primarily use spell work to manifest and to help release whatever is no longer necessary in my life. Some people don't see manifestation as a spell work, and some people do. So I am one of those people that do see manifestation as a type of spell work. I'm also into protection spell work. I don't usually dabble into anything quote unquote dark, but I'm trying not to ramble too much. But you know how I am. I'm a rambler.
You're
But
good.
yeah,
You're good.
thank you. But I've never had an issue with blending my Christian faith with my witch practices. So
So how did you
I
tell your family?
um I just tell my family I'm a spiritual Christian. I've told my mom, it's a new moon, it's a good time to manifest. I told my fiance, like, if you want to manifest a new job or this, that, and the other, it's a new moon coming up. If you want to release something, the full moon is, right around the corner. It's time to release whatever you don't want in your life anymore. So it was, I remember when I first got my Oracle deck, I did a reading for my mom. I did the Animal Spirit Guide Oracle deck and gave my mother a reading. And even at the time, she's like, "This is fun." I'm like, "Yeah, it is fun." So that was kind of like my way to like ease my family into it. Now almost everyone in my family knows I'm a tarot reader, and it's just I've gotten nothing but positive reviews from it, at least to my face. Anyway, you know.
So you're not the quote unquote, the one,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure I am. I'm sure I am.
yeah,
But they're kind
yeah.
enough not to say it in my face. You
Well,
know.
I mean that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
polite
that's
about
okay. If I got to be the weird one in the family, I'm an Aquarius. I'll take that flag and I'll post it up. I'm proud of being a little bit weird. I'm a good kind of weird. At least I think so.
So you are also a poet and an author, and I know you mentioned that a little while ago,
Mhm.
but did you find any connection between your poetry and tarot readings?
I've actually seriously thought about doing a poem for every card for the
Mhm.
upright and reverse meaning. And I tried starting that last year. Again, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so that kind of has to go first before anything. And at the end of the day, I have very little energy to be creative, unfortunately. But that is something I definitely want to go back to and explore, trying to figure out how to write a poem that expresses the meaning for every card, again, in the upright and reverse meaning. I thought that would be something cool to do.
So let's dive into the art of tarot.
Mhm.
And while we're talking about this, I'm going to put up a bunch of stuff. They're going to be scrolling across the screen. Anyone that is watching, if you have any questions, please let us know so we can answer as much as possible throughout this podcast for you.
Mhm.
Because there is a lot to deep dive into when it comes to tarot, um, where it originated, and how it all went from the 15th century into actually coming from a game and then actually
Mhm.
being used as divination. But
Yes.
as far as the art of tarot, when people hear tarot, they often think of fortune telling. How would you describe what tarot really is?
For me personally, I understand and respect that every tarot reader probably has their own definition. That's kind of a disclaimer I want to put out there that every tarot reader does their tarot readings differently. They all have their own belief system, they have their own view of what tarot is. This is just my perspective, my point of view, my opinion. For me, they are spiritual tools to help guide my intuition. I envy you, Leah. I know you've been doing psychic readings for a long time. I know you don't typically use tarot. You, I believe, use. I believe the term is scrying. You get a pen and paper to
Yeah,
help
I
in
do.
tune in your intuition to help guide it. I envy you. I wish I could do that. I need the cards to help guide me.
Mhm.
Um, to help open up the door to my intuition to help guide whatever the reading is, if that makes sense. So for me, they are simply just spiritual tools. I understand some people see them as very sacred objects, which to each their own. For me, at the end of the day, they are cardboard. They are paper with pretty pictures on them. So I don't how can I put it? Uh, they're spiritually very important, but the actual deck themselves, like my dog the other day, got into our guest bedroom where I have all my decks, and she chewed them all up. But I'm still gonna use those cards.
Right.
I don't mind. I don't care. They're little, they're a little worn and torn. But I personally, I like when tarot readers they've been using the same deck for a long time and their decks are a little worn, and it gives them some validity, more credibility, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I when I first got into tarot and started watching tarot readings on YouTube, I would see a lot of the tarot readers having different decks for each reading.
Mhm.
I want everyone to know if they are interested in starting tarot readings, like to become a tarot reader or an oracle reader. You don't need to be rich in order to become a reader. You don't need a lot of money. If you have one tarot deck and you just vibe well with that tarot deck, that's great. I mean,
Mhm.
to each their own again, but you don't need a lot of decks in order to be a great reader.
Right.
So, yeah.
So can you walk us through what happens in a typical tarot reading? Like what's your process? How do you start out?
Sure. So 99% of the time I do my readings online. I prefer to do them that way. That's just my boundary. Again, with me being a stay-at-home mom, I don't have a really great schedule right now. So for me, after I tell the client if they are interested in a reading, I typically send out my typed out reading within 7 days after receiving payment. I always receive the payment first. That way I don't give the reading and hope they pay me back. Because when I first started doing readings, that was an issue I had a lot. I would give someone a reading and they would never pay me. So I always ask for the payment first. I tell them I will give them that reading within 7 days. That way, it gives me enough time to find a day or some time to do the reading. Because when I do a reading, I want to put my whole heart and energy and soul into that reading. I don't want to lie to the person. I don't want them to hear what they want to hear. I really want to put my God given intuition into it. That way, not every reading is going to be 100% accurate. If a reader ever tells you that their readings or that they are 100% accurate, they are lying to you. Leah, I'm sure you can agree with that. So not every reading is going to resonate 100%, especially in that moment. There have been times where I have given a person a reading and they told me, that doesn't resonate, that doesn't make sense. And a week goes by and they come back to me and they go, you know what, this happened. I was reflecting, that makes more sense now. So that's happened. But whenever I do conduct the reading, I get my tarot and my oracle deck. I sometimes use my past life oracle deck if I'm doing a past life reading, etc. But I always get my tarot cards. I knock on them 1, 2, 3 times. That way it clears out the energy. And then I shuffle however many times, and I just usually wait until a card flips out. And then I get however many tarot cards I feel is needed for the reading. And same with the oracle deck. Again, I knock on the deck 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And then I take a picture of the cards. For the tarot card specifically, this is a great example for this deck. It has, I don't know if you can see it, but it has the
Raven and Rogue?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I got this on Amazon. A while ago. But
Great
it is
deck, by the way.
Yes, this is the Rider Tarot deck. And then it has each meaning of the card, both the upright and reverse meaning. So that way, when I type out the reading to the client, I can type out what the card means. That way it gives my reading some more context. So that way they know I'm not just like pulling it out of the air. I'm not just making it up. And then I use my intuition and I explain how that card relates to the reading, basically. And I just type out whatever I'm picking up intuitively. There have been, I do spirit guide readings where I try to pick up a person's annual spirit guide or multiple spirit guides, and I try to tell them what their spirit guide or spirit guides are. And then I just use my intuition. I just type out whatever is coming to me. And it gets, another reason why I like to do my readings at home and over the phone and typed out is I get in a trance. I look back at my readings sometimes and there are so many spelling errors because I'm in such a trance. I can't it's like spirit is typing for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And another reason why I like to send out type out readings, it's easy for the clients to look back at that reading and see, okay, what happened? This resonated, and they have time to reflect on that reading. Because I personally, when I get readings, I like to get them typed out because I have a terrible memory. And so it's nice to look back at those readings and reflect and see what actually resonated and what actually came to fruition and what didn't. So that's basically how I do my reading. Again, just to summarize, I receive the payment. I take pictures of whatever tarot and oracle cards I receive. I type out the meaning of the tarot cards, and then I type out what I am intuitively picking up for that person. Then I send out the reading, and that's pretty much it.
So in your opinion, is tarot something anyone can learn?
100%.
Okay.
100%. Not all tarot readers, from my experience, use their intuition. I don't know why. Some tarot readers out there just want to read the deck. Or excuse me, just want to read the cards from the deck. They don't use their intuition. I strongly urge people to use their intuition. I feel like the readings become more accurate that way. And that person you are reading for, even if it's for yourself, you get more messages that way. But anyone could technically pick up a tarot deck and become a tarot reader if they truly wanted to. We all have intuition. Some people's intuitive gifts are stronger than others. A lot of times it just takes practice. I'm a much stronger intuitive reader than I am now than I was when I first started back in 2017 or whatever.
I
2016,
100% will agree with you on that.
Thank you.
When you first started, there was a lot of kinks to work out.
Oh, of course,
when you first started. And now it's like you're like that.
Yes.
You're like that. Because she just did one for me, over a month ago or 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, one of the misconceptions out there is that just because we're psychic, I'm a medium, which means I'm a psychic as well. But that doesn't mean that I can predict my own stuff going on. So I have people that I reach out to and Midge is one of them. So she just did one for me a little while ago. But yeah, it was really, really good, really spot
Thank
on.
you. I really
Mhm.
appreciate that. Yes, let me be an example. If I can do it, anyone can do it for the most part. I mean, it takes practice. Practice makes perfect. Just like anything in life, you need practice, you need experience. The more you do it, the better you will become. And the biggest thing is trusting your intuition. That is something a lot of psychics, I'm sure, Leah, you completely can understand this, that we have a hard time trusting our own intuition a lot, especially
Mhm.
when you're trying to read for somebody else.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So do the cards hold power themselves, or is it more about intuition and interpretation?
Again, it's for me personally, I just see it as a tool. Again, to me, they are just cardboard or paper with pretty pictures on them. I understand and respect that not everyone will agree with me on that, but this is just my experience and my opinion. They are just simply tools to help guide my own intuition. It's just like using a key to open up a door. Is that key a tool? Yes, you're using that key to unlock a door. So that's the best way I can kind of use it as a metaphor. That is just another way to strengthen and help pinpoint and guide my intuition.
So a couple of the things that I wanted to talk about as far as someone's tarot deck. And we did a little while ago talk about whether or not you had to be gifted a tarot deck, um, whether that was a given golden rule. In
Mm.
my opinion, I agree with you. In my opinion, you don't. And what I find is that I have an issue with receiving things from certain people.
Hmm.
And that's not me being, a terrible person by saying it. It's just, it is what it is. Because I don't know what somebody's going through or what their intention is at the time of giving me something. And like you said,
Hmm.
it might not resonate with someone. Like, you with the spirit animal deck, I don't resonate with that. So that wouldn't make sense to me. And then I would have to give it to somebody else. I wouldn't vibe with it. But for me, I would want to choose my own because I know what I like and I know what I gravitate toward and what imagery that I want to see when I'm doing any kind of divination. So for me, that would be a personal choice to where I would not feel comfortable having somebody gift me a deck.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, with yeah, you definitely can. You can
Mhm.
be gifted or give a deck, but I think it's a personal choice, and maybe that kind of go along the lines of getting somebody's permission. Like, how do you feel about that kind of thing first?
Right. Especially, it really depends on the person's where they're at on their spiritual journey. If it's someone who is interested in tarot but doesn't know where to begin,
Help.
then I would recommend a deck for them.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
really would recommend this deck. Again, the
Yeah.
Rider Waite Tarot, which we can get to the historical aspect of tarot as well, but this is the first quote unquote tarot deck. The first official tarot deck is the Rider Waite Tarot deck. And these cards specifically
Mhm.
kind of give a brief summary of what each deck or each card means, both upright and reverse. And a lot of the cards are also associated with zodiac signs or elements, as you can see here. So
Mhm.
I think that's a really great starter deck. But again, I may end up giving that deck to somebody and they
Yeah.
practice with it and then they end up not really vibing with it anymore and they end up getting their own deck, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah. Like I said, I love that deck.
Mm.
If you're new to tarot and you are unsure about what to get for your first deck, if you were choosing to go out and buy it for yourself, jump on Raven and Rogue's website. They are the ones who designed that deck that Midge is showing you, to where it's giving you the meaning. It's written right on the card, and
Mhm.
it's giving you the zodiac and the symbolism of each card and what it means, in reverse as well. But I think that's a really good tool to have when you're first starting out. That way, you're not referring back to the book constantly.
Yes, that was an issue I had when I first started doing tarot readings. I had a tarot book with me while I would do the readings, and then I would have to look at the card, hurry up, look at the meaning of it in the book, and then go back to the card, and then try to use my intuition. So it just ended up kind of putting a halt on my intuition. So what I did originally with one of the decks that I really was drawn to, which is the Tattoo Tarot deck, I actually wrote out, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I would write out the upright and reverse meanings. And
Yeah.
I know I've gotten negative comments about that from other readers, that it looked at, they would say that it how can I put it? It kind of puts a stamp on my trustworthiness or capability to be a tarot reader. I can't think of the right terminology right now. Forgive me, but it didn't make me look good to some other readers that I had written the meanings on each card. But I had to do what was best for me. So if you do get a tarot deck and it doesn't have the keywords on it, don't hesitate to write it on yourself. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't take any of the spirituality, the magic away from the deck. Is perfectly fine to do whatever helps you become a better reader.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you think about it, you were doing that before the creator of Raven and Rogue put that out, printed out her deck. So
Oh, that's good to know.
you're getting blasted for what she now is being well known for, which,
Oh man, I should have patented that. Darn it.
yeah, yeah.
Damn it.
I mean, why not? But
Oh man. Oh well.
yeah, some of the things that I see watching the different videos, and we're going to bring up the word TikTok, obviously, because you can't talk about tarot without talking about TikTok, because
Yes.
we're all on it for the most part.
Mm.
And I don't get in the mix of all that back and forth stuff, but I do see a lot of creators bashing other creators just for the way they shuffle their deck. And to me, it's however you're incorporating your energy into your process and your reading, that's a personal choice. So what one person does of how they shuffle versus another person, it's just their method.
Right. Exactly.
Is that something like you agree? Because I see a lot of people having problems with people shuffling too fast. It's like you're disrespecting your cards. Well,
for me, it's not about disrespecting the cards. It's just like how can I put this? I've talked about this before in my TikToks. I always try to talk about red flags to look out for in tarot readers, because unfortunately there are a lot of fake psychics, a lot of fake oracle readers, a lot of fake mediums, a lot of fake tarot readers, etc., etc., etc. So at least in regard to card readers, because I'm just kind of joining the term oracle and tarot, I'll just use card reader for right now. A good example of red flags that I've seen personally, I've seen a reader on live giving paid readings, so meaning people had to pay for this person to read a card for them. They were literally doing this, just flipping the card and saying, okay, this is your card, Brittany, this is your card, this means that. Or sometimes they wouldn't even give the meaning. They would just say, okay, Billy, this is your card, etc., etc., etc. Not shuffling the card, not giving any explanation on the card, just literally whatever card was physically there, that's the card that person paid to get.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because it does, everybody who is authentic in their craft, it gives us a bad rep.
Exactly, 1000%.
Lumps us in with that, and that's not how I know that's not how I operate, and I know that it's not how you operate as well.
Yes.
So Brittany says, I saw someone doing that and just telling the person to screenshot and Google it. Like what? Yeah. Yeah. I see that a lot too. I scroll fast a lot on TikTok. I just, yeah. Okay. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions that you know surrounding tarot?
It's not evil. It's not demonic. I'm not going to name drop anyone, but I knew of a person who owned a metaphysical shop, and they would sell tarot decks in their shop, and they would specifically open up each tarot deck and take out the devil card, because to them the devil card represented something demonic, something evil, and that's not what the devil card necessarily means. The devil card is it could be about lust, passion, addiction, etc. And the death card doesn't necessarily mean physical, literal death. It usually means the ending of something and the beginning of something new, kind of that middle ground of the ending into the new beginning. So tarot is not evil. You can use it for evil practices, sure. You can use anything for evil practices. You can, a car is a good example. When you get into a vehicle, you're not necessarily driving a death vehicle, a death machine, but if you use it to harm someone, to hit someone, to run over someone, then yes, you're using that as with evil intent. So it's all about the reader themselves. But another misconception, again, anyone could pick up a deck, any deck that they're drawn to. What's another misconception? I've seen people on TikTok say that it's a closed practice. It is not. Anyone, literally anyone, any faith that they may have or may not have. You could be an atheist and be a tarot reader. I've heard of it. I don't understand it, but hey, to each their own. I'm not going to judge. What are some other misconceptions? Again, they're just pieces of cardboard, in my opinion, and they are a spiritual tool that you can use to help tune in and guide your intuition.
So on the screen is scrolling a question, and then it kind of correlates with what I'm going to ask you here. So, have you ever had someone come to a reading with unrealistic expectations, and how did you handle it?
Yes. Whenever I get a reading, whenever a client reaches out to me online, again, that's how 99% of the time, that is how I conduct my readings, is online. It is somebody who is legitimately wanting guidance on something. However, when I have done readings in person, that is usually the person who is just trying to see if it's a legitimate thing, just trying to have fun. I've had, specifically at the expo that I went to 2 years ago, I had a couple people who I could tell this was a joke to them, which to me is disrespectful. This is just a job for me. This is something I truly believe in. This is a huge part of who I am. It's something that is deep in my soul, and I am giving my time and energy to you. Yes, you're paying me. That is true, but I am still giving you my time and energy in my all of my attention in that moment. So I prefer people to come to me with at least some respect. It's okay if you've never gone a tarot reading before. It's okay if you're not really sure if it's a legitimate, real thing. I totally understand that, but please come to a tarot reading with some respect. But I had I had a gentleman who really, a couple men who I could tell they didn't truly believe what I was telling them. They were just like, okay, sure, sweetie, whatever. And in the back of my head, I'm like, why are you paying me? Like, why are you doing this? As much as I appreciate it. But there have been times where I could tell that the person I'm reading for is just like, this person's full of crap. I don't really believe them. But I gave them my all. I gave them, I did my best. I gave them all the time and energy I could possibly put into that reading. So
I love a good skeptic, though.
yes,
I really do. I love a
yes.
skeptic. Yeah.
Yes.
I've had many that sat down with me who, and again, no offense, guys out there, but whatever. But they're defensive from the beginning. Their arms are crossed.
Mm-hmm.
They're not open. They're just there. They're ticked off. Whatever's going on with them, it's just like they're all hard. They're being, just being tough guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you tap in and you start connecting and you start bringing forward, and with me being an evidential medium, I'm coming with facts. I'm coming with evidence, and you start to see it. And then the relaxed pose, and then you see them start to tear up, and so I don't like to see guys cry. That's uncomfortable to me, but I do like to see that when they they start to realize that, yes, I am connecting. I'm connecting with your family on the other side, or whatever's going on with you. But I do love a good skeptic.
Yes. And then there have been times where I've given a person a reading and they were disappointed in the reading. Not because it didn't resonate, but because they wanted a wow factor. They wanted to be shocked. They wanted to be in awe. They wanted some big family secret to come out, or they wanted to find out about, about something from about this person. They wanted some big surprise. Like, I gave a reading to a woman at the expo, and I said, everything's going really great. You're on the right path. Everything's going really well. I don't see anything negative coming your way. I don't see anything in the immediate future that you need to worry about. And she was really disappointed. And I'm like, most people would be so happy to be told that everything's going great. There's nothing to worry about. Because a lot of people come to me because they're very stressed out about a situation. They're worried about something. And unfortunately, there are times I have to be honest and say, you need to be worried about this or about this person, or this isn't going to work out the way you want it to. So I was kind of taken aback that this woman was so disheartened that I didn't give her a negative reading, I guess, or didn't, shock her. So again, when you get a reading from a tarot reader, the best thing to do is to come, number one, open minded, number two,
Yes.
with respect.
Yes. So I'm going to touch on what Brittany says here a little bit. She says, I can tell when they sit at my table if they're just for experience or if they're there to get their mind blown. Keep tissues at my table because we always end up crying. Yes. Yes. One of the things that I do, and I've had this happen to me a couple times, because if you know me, I'm not somebody that gets into my feelings. I'm not somebody who likes to cry or cry in front of people. I'll go hide somewhere and cry, but I'm not
Yes.
going to show people that I do that. But when I start my reading, I remove myself from the situation because it isn't about me. But there have been times to where I've connected with spirit that you feel it, and you start to feel the person, the person sitting across from you. You're picking up on their emotions and their energy, and then now you have spirit, their family member is there as well, and you do sometimes connect to that person, and you connect to that spirit, and you start to feel their emotions, and then it happens. But yeah, there have been a couple times to where I've connected with people and just like,
Yes.
now I'm starting to cry.
Yes.
but yeah, I always do keep the tissues handy for
Mhm.
anyone that sits down with me. They're
Yeah,
usually
I call being a tarot reader or a card reader a spiritual therapist, because it
yes.
is very therapeutic for a lot of people. Because again, people come to us for guidance, they need help, they're scared, they want to see how a certain situation is going to work out, or if a relationship is going to be ending or beginning. And so a lot of times I've had people hug me, I've had people cry, I've had it just, again, it feels like a therapy session for that person, which
Yeah.
is great.
Now I know you have your rules. You have your
Mhm.
rules set of what your do's and don'ts of, how you proceed with your reading. You
Yes.
don't do pregnancy. You don't do legal.
Hmm.
So if you can just talk a little bit about that, how you go about that if somebody brings it up, like court or whatever, and you're
Hmm.
like, nah, we're not doing this.
Yes, thank you for asking. I never do pregnancy readings. I don't do legal readings. I don't do um, it's been so long. No legal, no pregnancy. I don't do health readings, and I also don't do third party readings. For me, for me, the definition of a third party reading is when you ask, Leah, I'll just use you as an example. If you were to come to me and ask about your ex-boyfriend and his current girlfriend, when you ask about a situation or a person that has nothing to do with you. I
Yeah.
had a client years ago who wanted me to pick up on when her ex baby daddy was going to break up with his current girlfriend.
Mm,
And I was like, that I'm sorry, that I don't do this kind of readings. That has nothing to do with you. If she were to ask me, how is this woman going to treat my child,
yeah.
that's something different. I totally understand and respect that. But with her asking me, when is my ex, who I am no longer in a relationship with besides the child we have together, when is that person going to break up with the person he's currently dating? To
Hmm.
me, that's out of the realm of like your yourself. That is someone else's energy, unless that is somehow going to affect you, which in that situation, from my understanding, it wasn't. I'm not going to touch that. I don't touch legal readings because I'm not a lawyer, and I don't like to touch pregnancy or health readings because I am in no way a medical professional. I don't personally feel like I am have the capability or the right to tell someone about that. I understand there are other readers who do give pregnancy readings, who do give health readings, who do give legal readings, who don't care about the third party aspect, which to each their own. Every reader needs to have their own boundaries. Again, if you are a new tarot reader, if you are thinking about becoming any sort of reader at all, find what your boundaries are and stick with them, and don't let
Mhm.
others try to persuade you into disrespecting your own boundaries.
Yeah.
I've had that with clients before. I've said I don't do this, that, the other, and they say, well, how about if I pay you this amount of money? Then you tell me, and I'm just like, I really appreciate it. I
Yeah.
would love that money. I really would, but I need to respect myself, because if I start disrespecting my boundaries for one person, other people are going to find out, and then I need to,
Yeah.
it's not fair to other people as well.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I so when someone tells me I want a reading about am I going to get pregnant, I will have to tell them, I can try to tell you if I pick up a child any, in the future or whatever, but for the most part, I do not give pregnancy readings, because especially when that is a very touchy and sensitive subject for a lot of people, which is
Yeah.
valid. I don't want to get someone's hopes up.
Yeah.
I personally am just so afraid that I would get that reading incorrect. That's just a
Yeah.
paranoia. That I have. And so
Yeah.
that is, again, I know some readers are really great at predicting pregnancy. Some readers are very accurate and very gifted in that. Every tarot reader, every psychic has their
Yeah.
own abilities. We all have different abilities on different levels. Everyone is different. I know my boundaries, I know my limitations, and that unfortunately is one of my limitations.
Yeah. I have mine set in stone too, and I will not. I will not. I don't
Yes.
do the whole cheating question. I
Mm,
won't. You don't need to go to a psychic, and I'm talking to anybody who's listening out there. If you
mm,
think you're being cheated on, you already know. You do not need to go to a psychic to ask if you're being cheated on.
mm,
You already know. If you are a woman, trust your intuition.
mm.
If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. You
Yes,
don't
that
need
is
you don't need me. Save your money, hire an attorney. That's all I can
right.
say.
That is a question I get a lot. I do answer it. I don't that to me I feel comfortable answering that kind of question.
Yeah.
Um but I know you've had that boundary before, and I totally respect that. And again,
Yeah.
every that just this is a perfect example that every reader has their own boundaries.
Yeah. I'm all about protecting the person
Hmm.
involved, both parties,
Yes.
because the way I see things play out, and I'm just going to be, very transparent with people. Um, I'm not over here with the love light and rainbows all the time.
Yeah.
The way I see things is I see things not so nice to see. They're not so
Hmm.
favorable. And because of what I used to do for a living, the way I see cheating is if you're coming to me for validation that you're being cheated on, what's to say that you're not going to go home and take out your entire family? So that's where I draw the line. It's something
Hmm.
like that because I'm all about what if this person is a family annihilator? What if this person is going to go home and just say, F it all, I'm done. And that
Yes.
to me, that's not something that I want to ever see happen or have
Right.
happen. But as I said, if that's something that you think is going on, you already know you do not need
Hmm.
me. So
Correct.
that's my opinion. Um, so some people worry that tarot is dangerous or invites negative energy in. What's your opinions about that?
Again, it's all about intention. Just like the metaphor I used with the car, it's all about your intention. It's all about what you want to bring in, what you are opening yourself to. That's why I personally would never get in a Ouija board. I'm very against the Ouija boards, just because even the most seasoned medium, even the most seasoned experienced psychic, you truly do not know what is just around the corner. You truly don't know what that door could open to. So to me, tarot, you could use it for evil again if you really wanted to.
Mm.
Um, but I don't have that intention. That's not in my mindset at all. I couldn't even give you an example of how you could use it for evil. That's just not the kind of person I am. I honestly could not give you an example how you could.
Mhm.
But I'm sure anything is possible. So it's all about your intention.
Right. So, personal insights and experiences. What's one of the most memorable readings you've ever done without breaking privacy, of course?
Of course. There was when I first started doing tarot, there was a client that came to me. A year went by and they reached out to me again after that year and they said, it's taken a year, but pretty much everything that you have said has come true. Everything that you said in your reading, everything you stated in your reading has come true. Um, Again, I've made people cry. I shouldn't say I've made people cry, but people have cried after or during my readings that I have given them. I For the most part, I'd say 99% of the time I receive only positive feedback. In my experience, usually when I get negative feedback, it's usually because that person wants their money back. They just wanted a free reading. After all, I had a person not too long ago, maybe a couple years ago, they kept asking me, okay, if the reading that doesn't resonate, do I get my money back? And I said, no, you don't get your money back. Well, what if it doesn't resonate? And I said, well, I could try the reading again, but you're not going to get your money back. And they gave me a negative review, and I think at the end of the day, they just wanted a free reading. They were upset that I wasn't going to give their money back, and I was like, I need to respect myself. I worked really hard during this reading. I gave it my all. I deserve something.
Yeah, I mean, because you're still tapping into your energy. You're expelling your
Yes.
energy for this
Yes.
whole entire, from start to finish. It's with anything,
Mhm.
anything that you do, there is an exchange. There is a this for that. Uh,
Exactly.
on that note, I do want to bring up the old law that's on the books and what your opinion is. In Title 18, it is Section 1704, I believe. And it is an old law about fortune telling that's on the books from the 1800s, which I'm not going to speak on her progress here. She is not too far away from where I currently am right
Mhm.
now. But there is a girl down in Hanover who is currently working on getting that law removed from the books because she had police go into her tarot, her business,
Mhm.
and try to shut her down because of that. So, what is your opinion about that, and how do you think people should navigate around that until that law is removed from the books?
I think it's complete BS. I think it's complete BS that there is any sort of law, to me, that goes against our amendment right here in America. We should be able to practice however we want to practice. For me, a tarot is part of my spiritual beliefs. So to me, I guess you could argue that it is part of my religion
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. So I don't know how that law is still valid. I am shocked that it is still in the books at all. To get around that, for me, I personally, again, I do all my readings online. I've read for people all over Pennsylvania, all over America. I've read for people in Canada. I've read for people in Mexico. I've read for people in Europe, in France, in England, in Australia. I believe in even India and Africa. I've read for people all pretty much on every continent. I've read for a person. So
Mm-hmm.
there is that sort of loophole. I know, Leah, you have suggested becoming a minister, which I have.
I
It
did.
is you can do for free. Anyone can become a minister online. You can just all you do is sign up, and sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
can print out a pretty little certificate if you want to.
Yep.
So there is that aspect. You can use that as a way of protection. But it is a BS law that should have never existed, and I am shocked that it is still in the books currently.
Yeah, because I was, just watching the whole thing, and again, I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but just watching that all unfold when there's two
Mhm.
other shops just like this person's open, and they targeted her. So it was a targeted attack, in my
Yes.
in my opinion,
Right.
in my opinion, and I've talked about this before. We all still to this day in 2025 are susceptible to being hunted
Mm-hmm.
for witchcraft. No matter what term, what blanket term you want to put on it, we still all are susceptible to having this happen to us. Because even though it is 2025,
Mm-hmm.
it is very much prevalent to this day.
Yes, 100%, unfortunately.
Hmm. So, have you ever had a reading that completely surprised even you?
Anytime anyone tells me that this is 100% accurate, I'm like, wow, really? Okay. Like that's great for me. That's it's such an amazing thing because I've been doing this for close to 10 years now, for close to a decade now, and I still get shocked how strong and how accurate my intuition is. Again, no reader is 100% accurate. I don't want that. I don't want people to think that, but it is very, very aspiring, I guess, or it just makes me feel great whenever I get a client that says, you know what, yes, that's true, this happened, or they come back to me like I've said previously, and they say, you know, everything you said that was going to happen did end up happening. It didn't. It may have not happened in the sequence that I said it was going to, but basically, instead of it being from A to Z, you know, A and then Y happened, and then back to B, and then so there are times where I will give a reading and overall it's accurate in the sense of me quote unquote predicting the future because the
Mm.
future is always changing. I like to use the example of whenever I give a warning in my readings. Let's say a person comes to me and says, asks about a potential romantic partner. Like, is this person worth my time? And I read the cards. I'm like, this person really isn't in your best interest. You know, this
Yeah.
person doesn't want to be in a long-term committed relationship, and I feel like that's what you're looking for. And then they end up not going out with that person. And so it's how can I put it? So I kind of prevented or I told them, basically that person wasn't worth their time. So they ended up not going with that person, and so they went with somebody else or whatever. But so I can kind of help. I don't want to say change the future, but I can give that person a look see into what the possibilities are in the
Mm.
near future.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that as well. And a lot of people, what they need to realize when they go and get a reading from someone, that you can change the course of any of your outcome at any time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
1000%. Yes.
You leave a reading and you're like, huh, that was not what I expected. That was absolutely terrible. Sounds like my next couple months are going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
You can change it. That's the whole point of going and getting a reading. Somebody's seeing something play out for you,
Mm-hmm.
and you go home. You don't have to take that and just let it be what it is. Change it.
Mm-hmm.
Change it. It's kind of like that little bit of a test for yourself to see if you're going to accept that negativity or turn it into a positive when you leave.
Yes, exactly. Do you want the crappiness to come your way? Well, you have free will. You have,
Yeah.
someone just told you a possibility. You have the capability to change it.
So do you pull cards for yourself? Do you do that, like still do that, or daily?
Not daily. Every
Once
once
a
in a
bit you were.
while. Every once in a great while, I'll do
Yeah.
it. But for the most part, if I want guidance, I go to somebody else. I feel like people assume. I know we've talked about this previously, Leah, but I think a lot of people assume that because we have the ability, the intuition, the psychic ability, we're able to see our own future, which technically, sort of,
Yeah.
but you're giving yourself a biased reading. It is very hard to be unbiased with yourself.
Hmm.
Um, no, it said I was hand gesturing too much. But but it is better to seek guidance from other people. It's like giving yourself advice.
Yeah.
You can give the best advice to somebody else, but you cannot give yourself that same advice. It's the exact same concept. You need to go
Yeah.
to someone else for guidance or for their opinion. And a lot of times it's just really difficult and challenging to give yourself a reading. Every reader I've ever met has said, I'm accurate for other people, I am not accurate for myself. or I just have I have a hard time focusing enough on my intuition to guide myself.
Yeah, and that's why I have specific people that I go to get a reading, because
Yes.
I'm not gonna like what I have to tell myself. So I have people. We'll just put it that way.
Mm.
I have people that I reach out to and get a little bit of a heads up as to what I can foresee happening with myself.
Right.
So you have a couple, or no, you have one event coming up. You are going to be at the WPA Cryptid and Supernatural Expo September 27th and 28th.
Yes.
So, what can people expect from you? What are you going to be offering there?
I'm going to be primarily there to do in-person readings, mini readings. I will be offering 3-card tarot readings for $10, or 3 tarot card, 3 oracle cards for $15. Again, they'll just be little mini readings. I don't do timed readings. I won't give you like a 10-minute reading. I'm gonna pick out 3 cards or 6 cards, 3 cards from my oracle deck and 3 cards from my tarot deck, whichever reading that person picks, and I will just sit there and read whatever I'm picking up intuitively. I'll also be selling my jewelry. I also have a merch shop, machita.mymerchshop.com. I'll have like a little poster there just so people can see it, to see what clothes I have available, just so they can see those as examples and go on my merch shop if they want to. But I'm primarily going to be there to promote my tarot and oracle readings. Again, I will be more than likely bringing some of my handmade jewelry that I have available, but it's my focus will be my card readings.
So, as far as your poetry, I know you and I talked about this, but I'm not going to, you know, talk about your big thing you have, but unless you want to. So, are you planning on putting out any other books?
I'm really hoping so. It is a goal of mine to finish at least 1 book in my lifetime. I am amazing at starting books. I am the best book starter ever. However, it is extremely challenging for me, especially now being a stay-at-home mom, to finish a book. However, the book that I am working on, I'm going to keep it kind of tight-lipped for right now. It is a cryptid book, I'll say that. It is a horror/thriller book based in the 1970s. And then I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it is something I am very passionate about. I am trying really hard to finish. I don't know if it'll end up being self-published or traditionally published. I would love to go the traditional published route. I really would. But in this day and age, it seems to be easier to be self-published. So we'll see. I'm hoping to be at least close to being done with it by the end of the year. I am currently writing out chapter 9,
Mm.
which I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but for me that's like
Yeah.
a mini victory for me. So I am trying really hard to keep that goal to finish it within the next 6 months or so.
So, cryptid community out there, this is what you'll have to look forward to. She'll have her book out sometime. So, maybe in the future expos, you'll be there as an author.
Yes, I would love to. I am going to try to bring some poetry books to sell as well at the expo. Thank you for reminding me.
Mm.
I currently have 3 poetry books available on Amazon. If you just look up Midge Marie, as you can see, my name is typed out here, Midgemare, and you just type in my name with poetry. It should be the first things that pop up. So I have 3 self-published poetry books, and I am hoping in the near future to be a published novelist. So as of right now, the working title is Beast, Beast.
Love it
Um,
already.
Thank you. That is the current name of my novel that I will hopefully finish within the next few months. So keep manifesting with me.
Nice. So, if you can see the question scrolling across the screen, this is one of the ones that I wanted to ask you about. What's the most unusual place you've ever done a tarot reading at?
Ooh, that's a good question. What is the most I'm trying to think. Because normally 99% of the time I do my readings, I'm doing them right here in this my guest bedroom here that you can see. This is where I primarily do my tarot readings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, in the car, I've given mini readings just using my intuition in the car, like free, like yes no readings. For me,
Mhm.
a yes no reading, I don't really need my cards. I just use my intuition. So a lot of times, like we'll be not while I'm driving, obviously, but like I'll have my fiance driving. I'll be in the back with the
Right.
kids, and I'll be giving her a reading, a yes no reading, just typing it out. So I guess that would be the most interesting. Back when I started to do tarot and oracle readings, I would practice on myself, and I would always do it at my local cemetery. Not
Mhm.
because I was trying to be extra and be trying to be witchy or cool or whatever, but I legitimately feel very calm in a cemetery. It is
Yeah.
one of the few places I truly feel at ease. I'm an empath. I am very easily distracted by other people's energies.
Yes.
So, at the beginning of my card reading journey, I needed complete isolation, complete silence, just complete no energy around. And Leah, I'm not sure if you can attest to this or not, but from my experience, graveyards are usually very peaceful because there's not a lot of spirits
Mhm.
there.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
people assume that graveyards are haunted, which there are
That can be.
there's of course the possibility that there are, but for the most part, and this is just like a logical thing too, like why would a spirit want to be with their dead body all day?
Yeah. One of the ones that I can talk about, pretty much people might understand or know the cemetery I'm referring to,
Hmm.
is out in Schaefer Mountains in Central City, and that's Crum Cemetery. And allegedly, Rebecca Crum is buried there,
Hmm.
as she was accused of witchcraft, uh, 1800s, a long time ago, old logging community. And they apparently wiped out the village. Anyway, her resting place is there. And of course, it's a hot spot for people to go up and, pull out the paranormal equipment and try to connect. I went up, and it was probably 2, 3 in the morning. And I'm not going to say the person I was with, but you know him.
Hmm.
Um, we went up there, and it was peaceful. It was quiet. The
Hmm.
energy was just still and nice. There was nothing sinister. There was nothing negative about that place at all to me.
Right.
And again, if other people are having experiences, then I'm not there to verify yes or no whether they did or not.
Right.
But in my opinion, your soul is not there hanging out with your remains.
No.
You're not, because you are elsewhere.
Hmm.
Can a soul go back and visit their body? Sure. But for the most part, they're not there hanging out, because why would you want to be? Like you
Right.
said, it is hallowed ground, it's sacred ground.
Hmm.
So for me, I'm not hanging out in cemeteries. I have a different viewpoint of that. Again, I
Hmm.
don't need to go there to connect with somebody. I can find them anywhere, or they can find me anywhere. But it's hollow ground for the most part. It's sacred, and I
Hmm.
just don't. I don't even like visiting my grandparents in Grandview, so I don't find myself hanging out in cemeteries very often.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not hanging out with your body.
No, that's why I love I truly enjoy going to cemeteries. It's so peaceful. It is. I've heard that from other people as well. That it is very peaceful. For in my experience, for the majority of cemeteries that I've been in, it's just something. It's just a nice area I can go to meditate, be quiet, with myself.
Hmm.
But
So where can people find you other than your merch shop? Where can they find you online to book a reading with you or connect with you at the expo?
yes, I have TikTok, I have Instagram, and I have my Facebook page. My Facebook page is Midge Marie. Now I gotta think about it. I believe it is the psychic poet. But if you just look up Midge Marie on Facebook, you should be able to find me. On TikTok and on Instagram, I am at Mystical Midge Marie, all one word, no letters, no ats, nothing. It is all one word, at Mystical Midge Marie. You can always book a reading with me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. I have my email address as well. Forgive me, I very rarely check my email, but if you would like to email me, it is midgemarietaro@gmail.com. Again, no letters, no numbers, no numbers, no like symbols or anything like that. Just Midge
Yeah.
Marie Tarot at
Mhm.
gmail.com.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you want to put out there before we end the podcast? What's some of the things you want to dive into? And we'll just have like a little, just a little comfortable back and forth here.
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So, for people who are intrigued or interested in getting a tarot reading, like I said earlier, always come with respect, always come with an open mind. I fell into this myself, so no judgment if you do this, but getting tarot readings can become addictive to some people. I know when I was starting out on my spiritual journey, I wanted to get readings all the time. I wanted to know about my true love. I wanted to know about my career. I wanted to know about where I should move to, et cetera, et cetera. And I was trying to get readings almost every single day. I strongly discourage you from doing that. I've kind of had the debate with myself of when should you get a reading or how many times a year should you get a reading. For me personally, it's one thing to get a quick little mini reading here and there, maybe throughout your
Mhm.
week, like
Yeah.
how is my career doing, how is my what's my week gonna be like. I'm going to see family that I haven't seen in a long time, maybe to get a quick little reading about that. But when it comes to getting a full in-depth reading, I recommend doing that like once or twice a year.
Mhm.
A lot of people like to get a reading at the beginning of the year or towards the end of
Mhm.
a year to see how the following year is going to possibly turn out for them. I think that's a really great thing to do. But I don't recommend getting a reading every single day. I see this a lot from people. I don't recommend going to different readers and asking the same question over and over and over again,
Hoping to get a different
hoping
answer.
hoping you get the answer that you want. I see this a
Right.
lot with people who are hung up on an ex or becoming obsessed with someone they want to have a romantic relationship with.
Yeah.
Um, People wanting to know, is this person in love with me? Are they worth my time? Or when are they going to contact me? When are they going to contact me? When are they going to contact me? Not all readers are gifted in time frame readings. Some are, some aren't. Again, the future is always changing. It is very challenging to accurately predict the future. Um, but I don't recommend going to different readers hoping or wanting the reading or the answer that you want. You need to, again, keep an open mind. And again, you have free will, you have the capability to change the future, and the future is always changing. So again, it is easy to get addicted to receiving tarot readings.
Mhm. Yeah, I can agree. When I started, again, I've had disability since I was 3, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that I knew everything or how to keep it in check.
Right.
So when I was seeking out a mentor, I was doing pretty much the same thing because that needing answers immediately is the first
Hmm.
thing that comes in. So you're seeking answers
Right.
to a situation you're going through, but you have to have that pause and just allow things to happen the way they happen.
Right. I had a client once ask me, "Well, who should I believe? This tarot reader told me this psychic told me that." I went through all these different readers. They all told me different things, and I'm like, "You're doing too much. You need to step back. If
Yeah.
you're going to a bunch of different readers in a short time frame, let's say within a matter of a week, you went to a different reader every single day. You went to 7 different readers in one span of a week, and you got 7 different answers. And now you're confused, you're stressed out. That's when you need to
Yeah.
step back and maybe do some meditation and just realize that life needs to come your way. Sometimes you can't know every single thing. Sometimes you're not meant to know all the answers. Sometimes life just needs to happen. If you know everything that's going to come your way, then what's the point of living?
Yeah. How
You know,
boring.
yeah,
How
it's going to be
boring.
boring. Sometimes you need some surprises in your life. You need to just
Yeah.
go with the flow sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. There's no way to know everything every second of your day. That
Hmm.
would be boring. Very
Yes.
boring.
even for us as psychics, I mean, people assume that we know everything that's going to happen in our daily lives or weekly lives or monthly lives. People expect that we are going to know everything that's going to happen as soon as we walk out the door. And I'm like, I wish that would happen sometimes, but recently my family had I won't go into the details but recently my family had a tragic accident. I had no idea that was going to happen. I wish it did. I wish I knew that was going to happen, but unfortunately I did not. And that's just how life is. We're still human. Yes, we're psychics. Yes, we have this beautiful spiritual ability, but we're still human at the end of the day.
Yeah. And for me, the way that things happen for me now, as opposed to how they were years ago, even in 2017 when I met you, um, I have learned along the way to set that boundary up and separate myself from needing to feel and acknowledge every single thing.
Right.
Going out in public, like you said, I don't really know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But if I am out in public and I receive that download, then I'm paying attention because it doesn't come out of nowhere for me.
Right.
And it's kind of like when I receive the download from source spirit, it's that nagging feeling that doesn't go away. And I know that I have to pay attention.
Yes.
But the way it is now for me, I don't entertain every little thing, not anymore. Because again,
Right.
I got to live my life and be normal somewhat.
Yes. Hey, that's a great segue into this. Another thing I wanted to discuss about, I've experienced this a lot throughout me giving readings to people. A lot of people are disrespectful of our time and energy.
Yes.
I've lost a lot of clients or a lot of potential clients, excuse me, because they wanted me to give them a reading right then and there.
Yes.
And again, I'm a stay-at-home mom. My children come first. My life comes first. Unfortunately, I am not always available to give you a reading right then and there. I've had clients ask me, can I give you extra money for this reading to speed up, like for you to hurry up and give me this reading? And I appreciate that as much as I would love more money. I really would. But I want to give you the reading that you deserve.
Yeah.
I want to keep going with my integrity, and I want to be respectful of my spiritual gifts. I want to
Yeah.
give you the best reading I could possibly give you. If I just give you a reading when I'm busy, when I'm dealing with my kids, it's not going to be the best reading that I could possibly give you. I respect my abilities too much, and I respect you as a client. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to tell you what you just want to hear. I want to give you the most accurate reading I could possibly give you. So if you are going to a tarot reader and you are expecting them to give them a reading right then and there, obviously I'm not talking about physically in person, a reading in person. I'm talking about receiving a reading online. You need to give that person respect. You need to respect their lives. You need to understand that yes, they're psychic, but they're still human. They still have human crap going on in their lives just like you do. We're still human. So unfortunately, again, I've lost a lot of clients like that because, and I could segue into this as well, there are a lot of fake readers out there. And in my experience, 90% of the time, if someone is able to give you a reading right then and there, usually they're fake. Not all the time, but in the sense that, yes, you paid me, here is a reading right then and there. It's because they just want the money and they aren't actually using their intuition. They're not actually using whatever psychic ability, if they have any, to give you a legitimate reading. They just want your money. I had
I
sorry,
agree.
Leah.
No, go ahead.
I when at the very beginning of my journey as a tarot reader, I had a friend at the time who was also a tarot reader, and she told me, whenever you get a client, whenever they pay you, you have to give them that reading right then and there. And looking back now, I know that that person was not a tarot reader. I know that they were a fake reader, that they were just in it for the money. They were just using people for their money. They didn't have any, at least I should say, they weren't using whatever psychic capability they could have had. Instead, they were just putting out cards and just saying whatever bull crap they could make up with their minds. And they
Yeah.
were just using that person for their money.
And I agree with that as well. For me, it is a process that I have to go through.
Yes.
And that's why I have, scheduling. Somebody can go on and they can schedule whatever time works for them, but it's not going to be immediately, because for me, especially if I'm not well, which,
Mm-hmm.
I've done this many times. If I'm not able to give somebody 100% of my energy and my time, that does that person a disservice.
Exactly.
And you are hoping, you're in a situation where you're hoping to get answers about whatever you got going on. You want that person to be able to step up and see that reading through. But for me, I don't immediately do that. I have to center myself. I have to make sure that I'm well and I'm
Mm.
grounded and I'm connecting with my guides and source, that I'm tapped in, because other than that, we're not doing this. It's not gonna happen. Um,
Exactly. It would just be like going to the hospital and going to whatever doctor you could find, and that, God forbid that doctor is not feeling well, not in the best mindset, hungover,
didn't sleep
um,
for 4
didn't
days.
sleep well. Do you want that doctor, or do you want the doctor that is coming in fresh, that has
Mhm.
had a good 8 hours sleep, that is like in the mindset to work, and and has is in a better physical state as well? Which
Right.
doctor do you want?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you pay that doctor or those doctors. Which doctor do you think is going to perform better? Is going to help you better in
Right.
that sense?
Right. So there's a couple other things about readers as well. I know you wanted to get into here. Um, and again, we're going to obviously keep it clean. And, for your younger generation, we're going to keep it cute. We're going to keep it demure.
Demir.
um, but yeah, so as far as recognizing some of the things and to watch out for, and I know you and I have talked about this many times, many times.
Yes.
Um, like I know some of the things that you're kind of leery about, but what are some of the things that you see, especially on social media, people doing that is kind of like a red flag for you?
For me, it's all about trusting your intuition. I always tell people, if you want to go to a tarot reader, trust your intuition. If something's off, if they don't feel right, if you feel like they're pushing an agenda, you can always allow yourself to step back. For me, I see a lot of tarot readers on TikTok Live giving live readings. Example again is I saw a tarot reader just taking the card like this, flipping it over, and saying, "Okay, you paid for that card. That's what the card is." Not explaining the card, not trying to use their intuition, not giving any messages at all. But people just kept paying this person. I couldn't believe it. And this person would just flip over a card, say, "Okay, three of wands," and then go on to the next person. Um, Again, I've seen people shuffle their deck very, very fast and just like picking out the card and going, "Okay, that's the card. All right," and then moving on to the next person. So for me, I like to knock on the deck to clear out the energy. That way, I know I'm not. If I am reading for, because I've done readings on live before, and I've read for multiple people in a matter of seconds and minutes. I like to clear out that energy. That way I know I'm picking up that person that I'm waiting for right then and there. It's not the previous energy. So that's a red flag for me. For me, there's always people who just want to focus on the negative, that want to use scare tactics in order, or at least in the hopes that people will keep coming back to them for more readings, more money. There are people who, of course, always use the term twin flames, that kind of dangle that in front of people. I know it's a sore subject. I won't get into it, but they want to use the term. They want to use the term twin flame, like, oh, I got this card. This is your twin flame. They're coming
Yeah.
soon. They're gonna love you forever, and everything's gonna be hunky dory and perfect. That kind of extreme as well, where it's just only positive and like sugarcoating everything. So
Yeah.
there's that aspect as well. So I can talk all day about red flags, but at the end of the day, you really need to trust your intuition.
Yeah.
And also, you and I have talked about this before. You need to look for any reviews that person has.
Yeah.
I live by my reviews. I always ask for people to give me reviews, because that is a reader's bread and butter. That
Yeah.
really helps prove to other potential clients like the legitimacy and I hate to say the term accuracy, but the validity of that reader, if they want to choose to go to that reader or not. But word of mouth really helps, because
Yeah.
I've recommended Leah to a ton of people if they ever want to get a reading, or specifically a mediumship reading.
Because one of the things about me is, I got to let you know, I don't ask for reviews. And the reason being is because I handle a lot of homicide, S word. I know we're on YouTube, but I don't know if I'll get flagged for saying the S word.
Right.
I do a lot of homicide, S word, and missing persons. So again, my thing is all about the safety and anonymity of somebody. So they are not obligated to review me at all.
Right.
So my clients are word of mouth.
Okay.
But for me, one of the things that I recognize, and I don't know if this is something you also pick up on as well, but again, using TikTok as an example, I pay attention to the algorithm, because if I even speak at my phone, oh, Leah, you're in the fridge again, it's a Taurus thing. And then next thing I know, oh, Taurus, this reading is for you. Taurus, and it's like, I did this to myself. My phone overheard me. Now my algorithm is all about me being a Taurus and being lazy and on the couch and in the fridge, and, as we do, supposedly.
Right.
But so I pay attention to that as well, with and using that as a judgment. Like, this isn't meant for me. It's just my phone heard me.
Right, exactly. Like for me, it's like, oh, I liked 3 different tarot TikToks. Now, now I'm seeing only tarot. And one thing I don't understand about these tarot TikTokers, I see a lot of them on their screen. They'll put 111, 444, 222. I don't know why. I'm not sure why they do that. I'm not sure if they're doing that to try to attract more people to that video, but I do see that a lot. But yeah, you need to understand when it's a legitimate reading that spirits are trying to send to you, and when it's just the algorithm or just a coincidence, because sometimes it is just a coincidence,
or whatever's trending at the time. Because here again, there was an influx in narcissist readings, and it leveled out a little bit. And now we're back, because it is narc season, by the way. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. You'll know what narc season is. So pay attention, ladies. But now it's about narcissists again. So I see a lot of readings pertaining to that as well.
Yeah.
Because we're into the winter months, and nobody falls in love quicker like a narcissist.
Right. Exactly.
They need a place to stay. But yeah, so what are some of the other things that you have going on that are not associated with tarot that you would like to talk about?
Oh boy, I always talk about my kids, because that is something that is just, that is my whole world right now. So I'm in the trenches of motherhood right now, which, I struggle with that, and I have my good days and bad days, especially with having a toddler who is an extremely independent Sagittarius and wants to do everything her way and thinks she knows everything, and she's just, keeping me on my toes every day. I do have a Taurus son who has been very, very chill. Thank God. He's 4 months today, but he has been, a sweet, sweet little angel. I have my 8-month-old puppy, Dolly, who is also Sagittarius. She's a quarter healer, a quarter pit bull, half lab mix, and 100% chaos. So I have that going on.
Okay. What the hell? Okay. I just had someone comment, it's person is tarot destroyer. And I'm sorry, what?
Oh my God. That feels like a scammer. That feels like a troll.
Okay, tarot destroyer. That sounds like something you need a doctor for. That is not us. I wish you well. Good luck with your boyfriend's testicles. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
What the?
I
Okay.
wasn't going to say anything. I saw it. I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay. And here is, yeah, dude, you're You're getting banned because you're weird. You're weird. Get help.
Yeah, not the good kind of weird.
Oh my. Okay, so back to Brittany. We're going to put hers up here. Hopefully, it's not a question about testicles, but do your homework before you hand out your trust or money, especially online. Snake oil salesmen are everywhere. Yes, yes. Yeah, Brittany reported them too. What the hell? I mean, yeah. I'm whatever, dude. Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, there's always that one person. There's
Of
always that one
course.
person. They want to try it.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't more.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, they're doing it again. But yeah. So apparently he's trying it again. So we banned him again. Their comment was removed.
Oh, good.
But yeah,
some people just want attention.
Yeah, positive or negative, and
Yes.
10 seconds of fame. Hope you're happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what I agree with as well, as far as what we were talking about. But yeah, so you got a Taurus that you're raising, and
yes,
as challenging as it is.
Yes, he's been perfect so far. I mean, he's only 4 months, so we'll see what the future holds. But it's just funny. My son is a Taurus, my fiance is a Taurus, and my dad is a Taurus. So I am very engulfed in the Taurus.
Brittany, if you're still on there watching, can you ban him or report him or refer him to a testicle repair person? He's having, there's a lot going on in the southern area with that person.
Oh my God.
She says her husband is a Taurus. Yes, I don't know how you feel about Taurus. We are not for the weak. That's for sure.
It's no worse than my Sagittarius daughter. She's feral right now. She's a wild child. Someone told me that the first child was easy, and I was just like, she's easy. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
There's no way.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with some of the stuff that they say about my sign as being a Taurus, but not all of it.
Right.
Yeah, not all of it. One of the things that I do know is that we kind of like our cutoff game is really strong. I'm gonna see now you're in timeout. See, I treat you like a child, and you're in timeout now because you don't know how to act. But yeah, we pretty much are an easygoing sign until provoked.
Right.
But we kind of sit on stuff for a little bit until we decide whether or not we're going to flip.
Yes. Yeah. Tauruses are slow movers for the most part.
Yeah. We are very creative. We work great under pressure, but we go at our own pace.
Yes. That makes total sense.
Oh, so you and Brittany are Aquarius.
Oh, good. Oh, I never get to meet any Aquarians. We're so rare and far between.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm always the one keeping somebody grounded. But then I'm usually the one that's being watched by the others too, because I'm unpredictable. They never know when my lid's gonna flip.
Right.
Yeah, January or February. You're
February.
January. Oh, you're February. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here's one for you since the astrology thing come up. Ooh, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. What's the sign you would never go out with or date again?
Scorpio. Scorpio and Sagittarius. My ex-boyfriend was a Sagittarius, and it was just too much. And I always attract Scorpios. I attract so many Scorpios in my life, and I just can't. I can't do it.
Scorpio. She said Scorpio.
Oh no. Yeah.
And a Sagittarius.
Oh boy. Yeah. I have a hard time with water signs. I'm not a very emotional person. My fiance would probably say otherwise. But to me, I'm not a very emotional person. I just can't deal with emotions, which is why I'm sure the universe sent me a very emotional Sagittarius, because my daughter is very, very, very emotional. So, which that is something I am learning the hard way with her.
Leos are iffy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know if I should put mine on here, but you know what it is.
I'm sure.
Never
Again.
And I attract them. Male and female.
That's how it always is. That's how it always is.
Oh my God. Never again. Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's how I am with Scorpios. I always attract Scorpios and Pisces for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because I'm a very chill, neutral person, and I always attract very emotional people.
See, my friend is a Leo too, and she is one of the most unbothered people I've ever met. Just I don't know any other word to describe her.
Yes. My best friend's a Leo. My best friend Liz, she's a Leo. We've been best friends since like 3rd or 4th grade, and she's just so chill.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we get along so well. I can't do a lot of chaotic energy.
No, I can't either.
Yeah.
No. So does anybody else have any questions? Anybody out there watching other than the testicle guy? Is there anything that anybody wants to know about tarot? How to start your tarot business? Maybe if you have any questions about that, drop it in the comments. Mm-hmm. Please be clean about it, or you're going to go in timeout. Mine is the opposite. I'm the moon and she's the sun, and she is fiery for. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think my situation has a lot to do with the fact that I'm Gemini rising. So, yeah, you can go either way with me. It's just, which face are we getting today?
Right.
Right. So, Brittany, is there anything that you want to add to this? Is there any questions that you have for Midge? Does anyone have any questions? Tarot business, psychic abilities. Okay. Aries rising. What's your rising, Midge?
Virgo. I'm a Virgo rising. That's why you and I like to talk a lot. We're both ruled by Mercury, which is the sign of, or the planet of communication. So that's why every Mercury retrograde we're usually screwed over.
Yeah. Yeah. Mercury and full moons do not do well.
Yeah.
No. Mm-hmm. I don't get the rejuvenated feeling when there's a full moon. I don't feel floaty and good. I feel the opposite.
Yeah, I've always been, I mean, you can see by my tattoo, I've always been very drawn with the moon, but I've never been someone that's like, oh my God, the full moon. I wish I envy people who can be like that. But I've always been obsessed with the moon. I've always loved the moon, but I feel the energies overall, the earth energies, but like that. But when it comes to like, oh, the full moon, let me go bathe in the moonlight. Like that doesn't resonate with me. I mean, the moon is a very spiritual, powerful being. I definitely agree with that, but I'm not, like you said, it's not like your cup of tea, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like looking at it, but I know that I'm in for one heck of a night of no sleep, feeling all over the place. I don't sleep when there's a full moon.
Yeah. It's because it's like pulling out all the negative energies.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
What the heck was I going to say? Oh, We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. He's on to something else.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I do have Lilith in my chart too.
Oh, okay.
Which explains a lot as well.
Right.
But okay, so I am going to close this out.
Okay.
If anybody has anything before we end this,
Mm-hmm.
and if not, catch Midge at the WPA Cryptid and Supernatural Expo in September 27th and 28th, 10 to 6 at the Johnstown Masonic Temple Event and Conference Center. For anyone that's going to be attending or doesn't know about it, 2-day event, and the guest appearance is Willie McQuillan and Jeff Healy, Travel Channel's Mountain Monsters. And guest speaker lineup is Bill Rigby, Stacey Lee, Fred Saluga, and Bumpin' a Night Society and the Doss House. So they're going to be speaking throughout the weekend. Times will be posted on the group page on Facebook. But we have an array of vendors from all over, from cryptids to paranormal to metaphysical, crafters. There are going to be all kind of vendors there. Food trucks stationed out in the parking lot. So that's a new addition this year as well. So please check that out. Free to the public, family friendly. So hope to see you there. And Midge, if I don't talk to you until then, I will see you at the expo.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Okay. I'm going to end this. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Check out Midge online. Get scheduled if you want a tarot reading. Midge is your person. So.
Hi, Rosie. Sorry, my daughter's here.
Okay.
Hi, baby.
All righty. I'm going to hang tight, Midge, okay? I'm going to end this because I don't want that person to see your kids.
Oh.
Hold on.
Hi.
All righty. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
It's okay, baby.